I just want to confess that at 6:15 this morning, I went down to the cathedral in Lismore, and I burnt down the fucking church like Vikings. Fuck the archbishops, fuck them willing to take people's confessions, pedophile ones, and not go to the police about it. And they happily say this in the media. So fuck all the Catholic churches, fuck religion, fuck you all.
Funny thing is, I never thought I'd be the biggest talk in the fucking town. So. It was funny because I was at the point of delirium, right? I was doing all the mixing and trying to get these single released the next day perfect. So I did the 2 singles, Dragonstein and Lemon of Death. Okay. Sinner's Sanctuary final mix. Oh, this is the master to this. It all kind of started when I woke up at the point of delirium after a 3-hour sleep after cleaning up this place for a real estate inspection. And then I woke up at 1:30 from a phone call from my father telling me, "Did you hear what happened with the cathedral?" I was like, "Nah, I don't know what's happened. What do you want to tell me?" "Someone set it on fire," my father told me.
A church has been significantly damaged by what police are treating as a deliberately lit fire.
Sitting right here, literally, set up my tripod right here, set up Facebook, set up the shares to the groups, and hit record.
At 6:15 this morning, I went down to the cathedral in Lismore, and I burnt down the fucking church.
The police called me up with a warrant for my arrest because they had received over 100 phone calls in the space of an hour. People being nuts kind of dogged me in over this stud. It was always meant to be a joke because of Lords of Chaos and how I got into black metal.
Here I am, an average teenager, you may think. But you couldn't be more wrong. I am the founder of Mayhem, the most infamous black metal band in the world.
We are Lords of Chaos.
Lords of Chaos is a movie based off these 2 black metal bands and black metal in Norway. Those bands are called Mayhem and Burzum. They got done for church burnings through Europe, well, through Norway at the time in the early 90s.
Do it.
To me, they're amazing bands, but they always had notoriety and chaos around them. Hell yeah. Looking bitchin'. When I was 13 years old, I had a group of my friends over at home in the lounge room at mum and dad's. My sister said to them, "Oh yeah, but at least I'm not a cat fucker." And then my friends went around. My sister's at Trinity, I'm at Lismore High. So my sister's at the Catholic school, I'm at where it's keeping it real, in the public system. My sister said that to my friends, said it to her friends at the same time, went around to everyone in my age group, the cat fucker. I lived with that until I went under Jackson Marshall. Oh, we'll go around, do a few things. Yeah, where we go first? Play music. Hey, how you going, Peter?
Hey,
This is my film crew today because we're doing a documentary. You can say they've spent many thousands of dollars in here.
You have, actually.
Yeah.
I was going to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
That bill, outstanding bill. No, just kidding.
Yeah, outstanding bill, right?
It's been going well?
Yeah, everything's going well musically. Doing a documentary because my new album got released today, so it's kind of like an album
Congratulations.
thing. So I thought Why not show off a place I've spent many years in?
Okay, well,
There's free advertisement if you want it.
You were here, Peter.
mate,
I'll go for the 11 to 48 purple Ernie balls right there.
44, 11 to 48.
Yep.
Those ones.
Yep.
Merry Christmas, mate.
Merry Christmas.
With your new album. Good on you.
Sure?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you so much,
Good on you,
Peter.
mate.
I'm driving around a bit stoned right now. It's not like driving drunk. Did that once and crashed my car down this street when I was 19. My real name, Jackson Marshall, is a stage name, so it's no secret that my real name is Christopher Bell. Happy with you guys putting that in there, by the way. I had to change my identity and turn into this because people tried to make me feel guilty in this town back then, kind of like what they did with the church thing. So I hid away for a year, grew my hair long, dyed it black, and went on the Jackson Marshall. It was almost like a fresh start for 11 years. And this is the house my first album was done at, down underneath there. So that's where my first album was done. Crossroad from the Bowls Club here. So yeah, if we ran out of alcohol, me and my friends would just go across here and get takeaways. And we'll walk out with cartons of booze, even though it cost us $60 for a carton of beer. Yeah, so this graveyard, it's where I wrote the lyrics to Land of Death. Because it was so peaceful there, up here, and stuff, that all I kept thinking about was COVID-19. Everyone in Melbourne, while the panic was going on, well, I'm in a graveyard by myself, not having a bottle of wine. Because I have a spot here that I always go to. I go up here. I don't come up here much. That's the funny thing. But it's just like, you know those times where it's just like, you just want to clear your head and just get away from everything? And this is where I come because it's the most quiet place anywhere in the world. But yeah, a lot of my inspiration comes from here. Especially that Land of Death. I usually come here if I've had a shit day. Like if something creative isn't working, like I'll be frustrated in my office where the music happens. And yeah, I'll come here because this is a place where I can actually clear my head out of all places. People say, why don't you go to a shopping centre? Nah. We could, it's up to you guys, do the where I did Right Tonight music video. If you guys aren't in a hot, huge rush at all. If you notice at the start of that music video, I've got all the volume knobs on my guitar. I didn't realise that when I was filming, the volume knob had fallen off, and I was too lazy to come back out here for it. So I played the guitar for a year without a volume knob. Yeah, it's weird to come out here a few years later, and it's still the same. When I called you up, I was just like, that's a blur to me now, in a way. Like, I remember it. I remember walking out the police station going, what the fuck has just happened? I couldn't believe that they could do something like that.
I've been detained in correctional all day. We're not talking about in the dock at the police station, we're talking correctional services. They wanted me to go to jail till January 12th. But anyway, my dad's just come out to the police station. I'm about to get going. I've cooled down. But do you want to catch up over the next few days?
Just here on the Gold Coast, leaving Rabina after selling one of my guitars today, and rebuilding my life up here in Queensland over the last month. And I tell you what, it's been a fucking extraordinary 1 month up here. After being exiled out of Lismore by the magistrate, I had nowhere to go, but all my friends took me in up here. So right now I'm living in Coomera, directly in between the Gold Coast and Brisbane, or Surfers in Brisbane. And yeah, most days I travel this freeway, and right now, as you'll see, I've learnt how to become a proper city driver. And we'll go across 2 lanes at once. I've been wanting to move up here for fucking years. So, been really having a time of my life, as well as taking some trips. Trips. You know what I mean? Right now I see my life as a journey. I mean, this whole documentary is about what happened with the church in Lismore and capturing my life in exile. And to be actually exiled out of town by the magistrate, it's pretty fucking bitching in a way, because in hindsight, I was just like, where do I go? Nowhere to turn to in Lismore.
I was marketing a 2 single release, and the day before the single release, someone burnt fire to the church in Lismore. I took credit for the church fire on social media, and the video went viral. So
church burnings, yeah. Something that's happened over the years in relation to metal, and yes.
So I decided to be smart and do a throwback on true Norwegian black metal and bring that subculture back 20 years later.
Yep, that's one way you can spin it around.
Dude, I haven't slept from last night. Did you see the photos? Yeah! I was at the Star Casino last night. Hooked up with 2 ladies in one night. Since living up here, my sex life has gone from pretty much 0 to copful. How's that? Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely. Like, I actually got the negative result. When was that? Wednesday. Yesterday. Yeah, no worries at all. Thanks for that. I'm pretty hungover right now and having hair of the dog, so it's all good. Bye. Lawyer. I'm going to call on Monday. I called this chapter 1 of my new chapter. Chapter 2 will start after all the legalities are out of the way. I had a lot of love. I had a lot of hate. If witch hunts still existed, that's what happened to me in the modern day down there. You know, I couldn't go to a shopping centre in the end, even the fruit or veg section, without people with their phones, you know, over there. It's taught me one thing. You don't even have to break the fucking law. People will choose to hate you because they choose to. Fuck that up. Retake. We'll do a retake of that, okay? With my metal album, it's a heavy metal album. It crosses over all the different subgenres musically while keeping a theme lyrically through. So it is a weird concept album in that sense, that there's a story in the lyrics but the music changes throughout. But yeah, that's why the album's called Rituals, because it's pretty much a message from hell and what everything heavy metal kind of stands for. And when I was writing this album, I had to like close the curtains for a month. Like there was stints where I didn't see any sunlight for up to a month. And just songwriting, doing my thing, not having sleeping patterns, kind of just rolling with it because every day was Groundhog Day during COVID-19. Like, how do I say it? The days will roll into the nights while the nights will roll into days. Hold on a sec, so I can actually pull this up. This recording is supported by the Fund for Performing Arts and Arts Council of Norway. And that's a black metal record. So I want Australia and the Liberals to kind of wake up. This is my message. How can black metal that's responsible for church burnings and everything in Norway, the government supports it? Because you know, Vikings, his ideology, you can't help but like the guy in a sense. But the thing is, if you look at the big picture of it all, Euronymous got to the point of his ego being out of control. To the point, I don't even know the bloody real... No one knows the story except for Bug and Euronymous. One of them is dead. Shit, you're gonna fuck up that fucking amp. And I'm seeing my friends catch fire to a Plexible and lose $8,500 hand-wired amp because they didn't turn the power off and fucking electric. I've seen it all. Sparks fly.
Cool. So how'd you do the album without just went in and just winged it and just pulled it off?
Yeah, man. Just went in, winged it in my home studio, my 2-bedroom apartment, which I can't go back to since I'm exiled from Lismore, New South Wales by the magistrate, but we'll go there later.
Or not at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So, as Righteous Death, have you guys, how long has it been around? And like you said, it started about 2 years ago. But
I'd say I made an announcement that my project was going to be called Righteous Death about June last year in 2020. So I knew this guy named Morbid who's been in the heavy metal scene, and I knew he does great artwork. So I said to him, look, I want a Righteous Death logo. So yeah, made a deal, tried to spend him some cash, did the Righteous Death logo. The album cover is done by my ex-girlfriend. We won't go there tonight, long story short. That's why I'm here in Queensland.
Yes, we won't go there. So have you played any gigs yet, or plans of playing gigs?
There'll be gigs this year. We're planning on doing annual tours, and we're planning on doing longevity in the music business, so at least 7 new albums over the next 10 years. Stay relevant.
Yeah, that's a solid plan, that's for sure.
Big commitment, but I know I can pull it off.
Cool, well, let's get into some of the tunes. I did play a Righteous Death song on one of my shows at the end of last year. So let's get into Death, Hate and Pain.
Sounds good.
103.9 Triple T.
I was marketing a 2-single release, and the day before the single release, someone fired to the church in Lismore. I took credit for the church fire on social media, and the video went viral, kind of like Lords of Chaos. The funny thing was, everyone knew that it wasn't me, but the cops took me in to put a warrant on my arrest because they received over 100 phone calls in the first hour of this video going live. So,
church burnings, yeah. Something that's happened over the years in relation to metal, and yes.
So I decided to be smart and do a throwback on true Norwegian black metal and bring that subculture back 20 years later.
Yep, that's one way you can spin it around.
Exactly. So don't be a sheep to the media, people.
Yeah, right. So there you go. So that's how you started to get the name out there.
Yeah, that's it. And after that went viral. The 2 singles went like mental on Spotify. Like, I think I pinnacled at like 22 monthly listeners in the first month. So it just goes up and down. I think I'm at 728 when I last checked. But it goes up and down all the time. You can't expect that in the music biz.
Definitely. So, man, let's play another track. And then we've got a fair few, some of your fellow bands from down in Brizzy that you would like to give a spin on the air up here in Townsville.
Hell yeah, we'll definitely do that tonight, man.
Cool. Let's get into another Righteous Death song. It's Just Death, 103.9 Triple T. Never heard of those guys before.
The Silencio. I was actually recommended them by my good friend Deborah Gain, who I actually saw in Brisbane a few weeks ago. So I think she's managing them. I started listening to them a few weeks ago. I've heard their names around the traps for a few years, actually. And I thought that
they are really awesome. So, yeah, I think that the listeners will get a kick out of it.
There we go, the Silencio 103.9 Triple T. We have Jack Jackson in the studio from Righteous Death, and we're spinning some bands that he is a big fan of from down Brizzy way.
Down my way.
So, Puncture Wound, man, they're another band I have not heard of.
I was actually hanging with the singer the other week, out near Strathpine. Really cool guy. And Gene, if you're listening, you're a bloody legend. And yeah, I kind of knew of Puncture Wound, mainly because I work for this company called Vamped Up, which promoted a lot of Southeast Queensland bands as well as international bands. So my second gig with Vamped Up was actually working with Obituary from Florida. So I was part of the film crew for that, which was amazing. I'm actually got the film crew from that doing my documentary right now, Life in Exile, which we've been filming for the last few months, about my life and how society had ridiculed me to the point of getting kicked out of my hometown, as you can say. But I looked up my life 2.5 months later, $12 in my bank account because of my ex. But with a full tank of gas, now I'm in Queensland. Gene from Puncture Wound hanged out at his house for a night, spun black metal records all night, like First Edition Immortal, Mayhem, and just talked. And yeah, really cool guy. And I think the listeners were really digging.
Let's give him a spin. Puncture Wound, 103.9 Triple T.
Yeah.
So, and you now have seen them a couple of times in Brucey, Jackson.
I actually haven't seen them in concert, but I've actually listened to their music because the first gig I did with Vamped Up was me and the guys from Odious, and I was actually offered the Vamped Up gig out front of the Dark Cell gig, so that was pretty cool. But in saying that, with Odious, I noticed that these guys had amazing talent, like from the get-go. Chalky Hill on drums, Lucas on guitar, the rest of the dudes bloody killer.
Yeah, man, they're awesome band to see live.
Oh, definitely.
Let's play one of their tracks. This is 1,000 Ways to Die, 103.9 Triple T.
Hell yeah.
Deathplague are a cool band from Brisbane. And I actually had the singer featured on Righteous Death on the song we played earlier, Death, Hate and Pain. His name's Bon MacPhail, and when I had these 2 tracks to finish off this Righteous Death album, Rituals. And so I asked everyone on stats who wants to guest appear on this album, because I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to write lyrics to these 2 songs. So he reached out, so I checked out some of his stuff, and I was like, alright dude, what's your email address? So he sent me his email address, and then, within a week, he sent the vocal track back, and I was like, wow, this is rocking. Like, this is like Dead from Mayhem sort of level vocals. So I was very impressed. Put in the mix on Cubase. 20 minutes later, I had it mastered and, ready to distribute for Halloween last year, and it came out. And, Spotify skyrocketed a bit.
Cool, man. Well, let's play some Deathplague.
Sounds awesome.
103.9 Triple T.
Music
Rocks molded into one. Aussie tunes tonight, and I've had Jackson in here the last hour, spinning me some yarns about Righteous Death and introducing me to some bands I've never heard before from down the southeast corner. So, man, we're going to wrap it up for this evening. Thank you very much for coming in and, spinning the yarns and showing us the tunes.
Thanks for having me tonight, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. So, any last words before you head out?
I just want to say a massive thanks to the guys from Vamped Up, Pamela Summers. Want to say a massive thanks to Kris Peters from Heavy Mag, the boys from Disgust, Odious, Death Plague, everyone from Southeast Queensland who I love and respect. And I'll be back down there from February 6th. So, yeah, got some gigs lined up, which I'll be attending. If you guys want any publicity, send your stuff my way.
Jackson Marshall, guys, from Righteous Death. Enjoy the rest of your holiday, man.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. I'm going to go to the weather update, and then I'll be back with playing some tunes from the 4 bands at Grace Townsville with their presence last weekend. Right, 3.9.